Using frames on your digital scrapbooking page, that can add a really nice touch. But if you've never used them before, you might be a little confused on how you do that. Hi, I'm Vicki Robinson, and I'm going to show you 2 quick and easy ways for using pre-designed frames on your digital scrapbooking page. I think you're going to love this. Let's get started. Of course, there are a lot of frames that you could use on your scrapbook page. In this case, I'm going to be using one from these sets of shadowed frames, pre-shadowed frames that I have. And you can see that they all have little sort of extended shadows that make it appear as if the photo is popping off the page. But the techniques I'm going to show you work with any kind of a frame, whether it's shadowed or not, vintage or paper, it doesn't matter. The steps would be the same. I'm working in Photoshop Elements 2022 today, but the steps I'm going to show you will work in any version of Photoshop Elements as well as the full version of Photoshop. Today we're going to be working with this layout by Evelyn. It's a beautiful layout and I love the photo that she's chosen, but as you can see, the photo itself is larger than the frame she wants to use, and that's a pretty common problem, right? Now your first instinct might be to simply get out the eraser and erase all the pixels that fall outside of the frame area, and that would definitely work. The problem with that is it's a destructive method, meaning that you need to erase those pixels, and when you've done that, they're gone. You can Control or Command Z to undo, but you can only do that so many times, and if you've done a lot of erasing, you may not be able to get the photo back to where it was. So your option would be to pull in another copy of the photo, and that's okay. That is definitely one way to do it. But I have 2 different ways for you to do that that are non-destructive, meaning that once you've done them, you could come back and change them at any time, assuming that you still have kept your layered PSD or TIFF file. So the first step is going to be to make sure that your photo is positioned where you would like it to be in the frame. And I think this looks good exactly where it is. The first thing we're going to do, the first method, is to create a mask that we can attach the photo to. We're going to do that by filling a shape, creating a shape and filling it with a color. So I'm going to select my photo. By the way, this frame is, in case you like it, it is frame number 6 from my shadowed frame set number 1. It has the little shadow in the upper right corner and then a little bit down here on the bottom. So we're going to target the photo frame, the photo itself, and then we're going to come up and choose the rectangular marquee tool. That's this tool here in the selection set of tools. If you don't see the rectangular marquee, you might have just used the elliptical marquee before, and that's what Photoshop Elements is remembering. So just come down to the tools option, select the rectangular marquee. You want to be making a new selection. Feather should be set to 0 and aspect should be set to normal. Now we're going to simply click and drag in the upper left hand corner, just slightly outside the photo, photo inside the frame here. Click and drag out a rectangle. And if you need to reposition as you're clicking and dragging without letting go of the mouse, hold down your space bar, and that will allow you to slightly reposition if you did not start exactly where you wanted that to be. And when it's positioned where you want to, don't let go of the mouse, just go ahead, just let go of the space bar and then continue to click and drag. And I'm going to drag just slightly outside the margins of the photo. Just outside the boundaries of the frame. So I'm inside the frame a little bit, just making sure I capture everything that I need to. Then when you're ready, let go of the mouse. We're going to add a new layer up above my photo layer. So click on the Add New Layer icon in the full version of Photoshop. That's at the bottom of the screen. In Photoshop Elements, it's at the top. Now we're going to fill this area, this selection, with a color. Edit from the menu, Fill Selection, choose a color. It doesn't matter which. Mine is already set to black. Yours may say the word color. If it does, just go ahead and choose a color, and we're just going to choose black. Mode should be set to normal, opacity 100%, and make sure that preserve transparency is unchecked. Say OK. And now Control or Command D to dismiss the marching ants, and you'll see that we have a black rectangle beneath our frame. Let's move the photo up above the black rectangle. Then from the menu, choose Layer, Create Clipping Mask. And now you'll see that the photo has been clipped to the black rectangle, and we have created a mask. We can now move this photo anywhere we want. Switch back to the Move tool, V on the keyboard, and if you need to, you can actually reposition this photo within the mask a little bit. Now, if you want to reposition the photo and the frame, we're going to need to take an extra step to make sure we keep those together. So I'm going to click on the frame layer, hold down the Shift key, and click on the photo, and hold down the Shift key and click on the black mask, and then hit the little chain to the left in the layers palette, and that will connect those three pieces together so that if you move these around, they'll move together. Let's put that back where it was. Control or Command Z to undo. Shall I show you that one more time? I'm going to click on the chain link to unchain those. And I'm going to delete this layer mask, and we're going to do that one more time. I'll have a new layer, and it really doesn't matter where you put the layer, just as long as there's a new one, because obviously we can always reposition it. So click on the new layer icon, get the rectangular marquee tool, make sure you're creating a new selection, feather is set to 0, aspect is set to normal. Click and drag out your rectangle, holding down the space bar without letting go of the mouse to reposition if necessary. Let go of the space bar, let go of the mouse. Come to the menu and choose Edit, Fill Selection, choose Color, and if the color picker doesn't come up, if the color picker comes up, choose a color, or you can just choose black, which is what we're going to do. You want blending mode to be normal, opacity to be 100%, and you want preserve transparency to be unchecked. Say OK. Control or Command D. Make sure your photo layer is above your black or colored layer. Click on the photo layer to target it, and come to Layer, Create Clipping Mask. To release the clipping mask, you would just reverse the process, Layer, Release Clipping Mask. So that's one non-destructive way that we can do this. I'm going to delete this black layer here, my mask layer, and show you another way to accomplish the same thing. Let's target our frame layer, and then from the menu, the toolbar, we're going to choose the magic wand. Now the magic wand, the default of this selection tool is actually the quick selection tool. So if you don't see the yellow magic wand, just come to the tool options area and select the magic wand. Our tolerance is going to be set to 32. Sample all layers should not be checked, but both contiguous and anti-aliasing should be checked. We're going to click once in the area. Remember, we've got our actual frame layer targeted. Click once inside, and you'll see, if I zoom in here a little bit, that we have the marching ants. Now we want to expand this area, our selection, just a little tiny bit, so that when we complete this process, we have a little more room to work with. To do that, we're going to come to the menu and choose Select, Modify, Expand. And here we're going to choose a number somewhere between 5 and 10 pixels. The idea is we want this marching ants to come out a little bit into the frame. And so I'm going to use 10. Say OK. And now target your photo layer. And then from above the layers panel, choose the Add Layer Mask icon. It's the blue square with the white circle. In the full version of Photoshop, that's at the bottom of the layers panel. Click on that, and then you'll see, if I zoom out just a touch here, that instead of a physical digital rectangle mask, Elements has created a mask on the photo itself. So again, it's a non-destructive way of hiding the pixels that you don't want to see. The cool thing about this is that if you decide that's not exactly the way you wanted to do it, you can right mouse click. Notice that, by the way, notice that there's a border around the mask here. If I click on the photo itself gets the border. If I click on the mask, it's the mask that's highlighted. If I right mouse click now, I can delete this layer mask and I can start all over again. So let me show you that once again. Remember to target the frame layer, get the magic wand. Remember, tolerance set to 32, sample all layers is deselected, contiguous and anti-alias are selected. Click once inside the photo. Expand our selection by saying select, modify, expand. 5 or 10 pixels should work. Say OK. Target your photo layer and then click the add layer mask icon. And we're done. And once again, if you want to start all over again, just right mouse click on the mask and say delete layer mask. So there you have it, 2 different ways to use frames on your digital scrapbooking page. I told you that would be quick and easy. I hope you liked this tutorial. If you do, please leave me a thumbs up or give me a comment below. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any other of my scrapbooking tutorials. Thanks for watching.